Hello, everybody out there in Blab Land, Internet Land, or YouTube Replay City. Hi, I'm Elaine Nieberding, and today, the day of this recording, is actually November 30th, the last day of November. Oh my goodness gracious, how the time has flown this year. And I'm very happy to be joined by my friend Jeremy Murphy. The founder of the Positivity Patrol, and a good friend of mine, a open-hearted, good-spirited fellow, and that's why I'm always happy to see him here in conversation. Jeremy, before we started the recording, I was mentioning that this thing in your home, which apparently is a collage of like hands.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. It looks very much like turkey feathers. I guess I still have Thanksgiving on the brain.
Well, it is heart-shaped, but yeah, it's a reasonable interpretation, though. But see, if I move away, you can see it does break into the center into a heart shape, and there are hearts on the side to reinforce that.
Yeah,
I can hide this and make it look like a turkey if you like.
Well, Jeremy, you're all heart. Did you have a lovely Thanksgiving holiday?
I did. How's yours?
Mine was especially meaningful because Ma and Pa, who is 97, mm-hmm. and Ma, who is 96, were still able to come over to my home in Bel Air, Maryland, because they have mobility issues that are different this year than they were last year. We really kept most of our celebrating to the lower level of our house, where we set up our tables and, had a meal with 12 people and a baby.
Good.
And so that was lovely. And I drove my parents home and was staying with them overnight during Thanksgiving evening. And my mom just went on and on how happy she was to see this new little infant that's in the family and how delicious food was. So, I'm glad that still worked. And we just, with family, with friends, with everything going on in life, it's one day at a time.
That's true. That's a great way to live your life. If you reach for more than that, you get little surprises, getting you little messages telling us to slow down a little bit.
Yeah. So, and this is true too of this activity of decluttering. As you know, Jeremy, I've been working on this decluttering project in my own home and life for about the last, we're going on 2.5 months now. And I thought this was a good conversation topic to do on Blab. Once I thought there might be a lot of people that have issues with like too much stuff. And maybe we could help motivate and encourage each other to thin out things, simplify our lives, and open up to a healthier way of relating, to all the stuff in our life with a greater sense of presence and appreciation. And as we go about getting clear on what we need to clear out, to let it go, to let those things go with gratitude, help them find new homes. And yet, it's still a challenge. I was really drawn to Marie Kondo's book about a week into my own decluttering process because I heard it was a bestseller, and had been for months and months and months. I thought, if it's on there that long, there must be some value. And I understand you've picked up the book too and are getting a little bit more and more familiar with it.
Yes, I finished the book, actually. After telling you I didn't know how I could possibly finish it, I decided it's time to just get through it because it's not that long a book, and I wanted to try to absorb it, and I felt like if I kept taking in slivers that were too tiny, I wouldn't be able to absorb the larger lessons within it. So, but the craziest thing happened, Elaine, after I finished this book. I went to my main closet where most of my clothes are, and suddenly I was arranging the clothes from darkest colors to lightest colors. And I've never done this before. It's all been completely random. sometimes I've sorted it by suits and shirts and things like that. But and it was amazing. I looked at it afterwards and I said, wow, that makes a lot of sense. And I would have never come up with that if someone hadn't suggested it. But I had been resisting a lot of the book's lessons, but that one, I don't know, that one kind of sunk in, and that surprised me a little bit.
Okay. So for those of you watching who are kind of new to this Marie Kondo method, she suggests, most of us have far too much stuff in our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just a matter of learning how to organize all the stuff you have in your house and just get efficient at cleaning and tidying up and do that more joyfully. No, she suggests it's important to, when you're ready, make the decision to do major special event tidying or decluttering, where you're essentially going through your stuff and really asking, as you go through each category of things that you're examining, what sparks joy. Mm-hmm. And ultimately, as you do this process, you become more and more aware of the reasons you may have accumulated things, and they don't serve a purpose for you any longer. They may be duplicates of stuff you have, and they may not spark joy at all. Why not create a home environment for yourself that not only has utilitarian function, but has a sense of simplicity and order and beauty to it that you can experience every day? I know for me, Jeremy, it actually has been difficult for me to visualize the end point,
yeah,
that I'm aiming for.
Sure.
I still am finding that difficult, even though I have gone through the sorting out process for my clothing and my books. And she suggests those are actually the two categories that you start with. Being the book hound I am, the book thing has not been easy. And I have not yet fully reorganized the storage areas for my books. They're kind of halfway there because the Thanksgiving holidays came upon me as I was getting ready to do that, and basically had to reconfigure my house for house guests and
right.
and lots of other stuff. So I want to reflect now on just why I came up with the topic I came up for this week. I've been working the Marie Kondo process for a while. I would say I'm not a purist, about it, but I am finding her her overall messages really helpful. She's really encouraging us to more and more be in a place of presence, in a place of mindfulness,
right,
with our environment, with the stuff around us, and even dare to imagine that the items we use, that they have a consciousness. So like when you use your glove, you use your glass, you really appreciate its function. You say thank you to it. And if you're coming across things that you are letting go of, you say thank you as you say goodbye.
Right.
What I know about my own process that I've now been doing for the last, 9 or 10 weeks or so, is that, man, I still got a lot of my inner critic stuff going on, suggesting you're not going to be done with this before the end of the year. This is going to take you a lot longer than you think.
There is a short circuit, though, Elaine. I have an idea for you. And for anyone watching this, there's a day coming in less than a month, and we can give things away as gifts. books, clothes, etc. I, put aside the issue of regifting and whether that's a good idea or not, but I just see myself maybe taking advantage of that time and maybe being able to give at least some books away or something like that.
Now, are you speaking of are you saying because you're making the decision to declutter and come up with all these things that you're ready to let go of, you feel good about, just giving them away, gifting them to organizations, gifting them to other people?
Right. Yes, I do.
Okay.
There are poor people that are hungry for knowledge as much as they're hungry for clothing. And some of them are looking for great literature or books that we've already read that maybe we're never going to read again. I mean, the reality is the most wonderful books we've ever read, maybe we will reread to absorb the lessons at a deeper level, but a lot of them we just won't have time.
Yeah. So today's topic, I've called Get Accountable, Accountable when decluttering. Oh, let's get accountable. Let us walk our talk, walk our talk. Let us walk our talk. Okay, that's the old version of Olivia Newton-John's Let's Get Physical with different words. So it occurred to me, if there are so many people out there doing the Marie Kondo thing, I guess there are probably some Facebook groups or groups where people could find either partners to talk about this with, to encourage us or support each other with, and maybe have an accountability partner. So my question to you is, there are lots of business groups and masterminds where people will get together to kind of hold each other accountable, to
Right.
encourage each other. And I'm wondering, do you have any experience with either groups for accountability or where you've enlisted like an accountability partner to keep you on track? Like even in running, do you have any experience with that?
Sure. I've been a part of a mastermind group in the past, and it was I guess a life coaching group. And my life coach was my former life coach was leveraging his time and coaching a bunch of us individually, and also in a group setting. And that
Hey,
was
smile! I'm
helpful.
taking your picture for a telephone.
Okay.
You know what? We're going to do this one over. You look far too serious.
Oh well, I'm trying
Okay.
not to.
This is going to be better with a little smile. Okay, yes, folks, it's kind of staged. Ha ha. Let's see how it comes up. I see we have. Oh, good. We definitely look like we're having a good time. Lisa Nichols has joined us. Hi, Lisa. We're always happy to have more people join in the conversation. And we're talking about decluttering. And, I am using the Marie Kondo Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up book as my basis and reference. And we've been having conversations about this for, a bunch of weeks now. This week, we're weaving into the conversation. Does it help when you're working on let's call it a positive transformational project, to have an accountability partner? And I'm going to swing this back on over to you, Jeremy, because you were just starting to address that. And, Lisa Nichols says, hi, I have that book. It must be under all my clutter.
Oh no.
Wink, wink.
Been there, done that. I'm sorry to say I've hit it under clutter too, but I finally finished it. So
Okay, so you were mentioning having an accountability partner or linked to a mastermind group, feeling into this thing about accountability.
sure, it does help to have coaches use these groups to help people have accountability both with the coach, and sometimes they find accountability partners within the group also. I think this is something that we do as as entrepreneurs these days. I think a lot of us are finding accountability partners to help us keep forward momentum going and things like that. And then so that's something that I've found a fellow life coach that is doing that for me, and I'm doing that for her. And I find that if you have that, it just helps you keep focused a lot better, and then you're not getting sidetracked and impulsively doing something else instead of decluttering. If you're buried in chaos and clutter, you have to take the time to clear that, and ideally before holidays like Thanksgiving, Christmas, etc., before you have family over, like you talked about, Elaine. You don't want your house to be a mess. You don't want people to pass judgment on things like that. And I think it does reduce the mental clutter also.
Well, my old pattern has been this seasonal and cyclical stuff. Oh, yeah, I'm having a party. I'm having a big family event. I'm going to clean stuff out, clear stuff out. But as I've mentioned before, I really have only gotten to the surface of stuff. And a lot of stuff ends up just being pushed behind the closets or, go into the office, the old office, which was turned into a dump room. Now, I have shared my success that, probably 6 weeks ago, I got over my fear of starting to reconfigure my dump room. And I did do my book sorting in there, and that was great. And now that room this past week was turned into a guest bedroom for Thanksgiving weekend. So the bed's still in there, but actually I now see that it has moved along in a perfect process because of the papers, the crates of papers that are stacked in the closet and adjoining rooms that have gone into overflow. I essentially have 3 collections of, papers that I need to sort. I have all my nursing stuff, my nursing school and my professional nursing stuff. And I have, I'm sure, 10 times as much stuff as I need in that arena. Then I have a whole collection that's related to my years of work in when I was practicing and teaching Reiki. And that still is a practice that I utilize in my life. And it's one foundation of, you could say, my world and my life view and my self-identity. But once again, I have 10 times as many papers and resources there as I need. Now that I have this great bed in the guest room / office, I can actually use this bed for a great sorting staging area. So I think that's turning out pretty good. But now I want to get back to this idea of accountability and how I came up with it. It must have been sometime last week after I did the last Declutter Day blab. I caught a show, or maybe it was a replay show by Jenny Q, who is a well-known blab host, and she was interviewing Don Miguel Ruiz Jr. Now, I didn't actually know there was a Don Miguel Ruiz Jr. as well as a senior, but I was associating the name Don Miguel Ruiz with a book, that a very well-known book that I think came out in the late 1990s called The 4 Agreements. And it prompted me to look back and say, what are those 4 agreements again? And I knew that they were, at least one of them was about really being impeccable with your word. Right. Like when you say you're going to do something, that you follow through, that you tell the truth, and then you let your behavior and your actions follow through with that. And as I went back to review the 4 agreements, wait a minute. I have them here. I want to read them. One of them is be impeccable with your word. That's the first one. The second one was don't take anything personally. Like our ego frame of reference wants to think we can be harmed. We can, the words and opinions of others can hurt us. They can influence us. And if we're living from our highest authentic place of wisdom, the opinions of other people, they don't matter anyway. We're really here to live out this life expression. The third one is don't make assumptions. And the fourth one is always do your best. Okay, I looked these up, and today I went back to review that blab. Well, it was Don Miguel Ruiz Jr., actually the son of the guy who wrote the classic book. And the son had written his own book called The 5 Attachments. I thought, boy, this is going to have to be something interesting to look at, because when we're going through our decluttering stuff, we get to examine, oh my, why we have accumulated things, why we keep them, why we hold on to them. Okay, well, I haven't quite gotten into his book yet, but the whole part in Don Miguel Ruiz's 4 agreements, particularly talking about being impeccable with your word, made me think, so if I've made this decision to declutter, to go through this transformation and this process, what happens when I don't feel like I'm keeping up the momentum?
Right.
Do I, could I use an accountability partner for this?
Sure.
And on the few occasions where I have tried finding a single accountability partner, usually those relationships have been short-lived, either because we're like not the right matches to be supportive of each other, or the timelines.
Yeah.
For reconnecting on meaningful ways, it's like it doesn't end up working. Sure. It kind of falls apart. And so I then started thinking about, is it helpful to find another person to help? Or should ultimately, I should be just listening to my highest accountability partner, like my soul or the God I believe in, or my highest wise self. What is my commitment to listening? And you and I have both been a part of the series by Marilyn Shannon on listening.
Right.
That has really helped me come to recognize I listen some of the time, but man, it is difficult to consistently listen and follow through and trust the guidance that you get, that you're listening from above. So I'm just glancing over at the questions again, and Lisa, Lisa is aware, be impeccable with your word is the first one. The second is don't take things personally. The third is don't make assumptions. And the fourth is always do your best. Now, if you are here, listen to this program in the in Blab or in the replay where you see the comment stream on the side. I actually did put a GIF in there at the very top of the panel. If you scroll on up, you will see they are there and they are listed. So as I How do you tackle your family's treasures?
That's
Okay.
that's from Lisa. Yeah.
I see Lisa Nichols' question, and I will get to that in a little bit. But getting back to this accountability stuff, and weaving this into Don Miguel Ruiz's 4 agreements, I started looking at how I really approach this decluttering project, like from my soul, like what I was saying I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, under being impeccable with your word, I wrote some I am statements. I am releasing what no longer serves me. I'm using the Marie Kondo method as I listen to my guidance in allowing myself to vary it. In other words, I don't want to make a god out of the Marie Kondo method. I really want to listen from my highest sense of wisdom, how to use it, how to implement it, how to bend it that fits me being a highest healing presence. Okay. The other thing I wrote, I'm being kind to myself as I go through this process, pacing and flowing with where my loving attention is called to serve. So once again, if I had made from a thinking place a schedule out in September saying, by gum, by cracky, by the end of this year, I'm going to have gone through my clothes, my books, and my utilitarian things like in my kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
That never seems to work with me. I can't stick to those timelines because I guess some could say, I need to be serving other groups of people. I feel a compulsion, an inner drive of love to be, communicating in these arenas. And it takes more time to do this, as you well know, Jeremy,
yes.
than just turning on the blab and saying, come on, folks, we're going to talk about this.
Yeah, there's a lot of preparation time. You're right. Yeah.
It takes reflection. It takes PR time. It takes tweeting it on out. Anyway, so that's the framework I'm making from my highest sense of word, from my soul guidance. These are the ways I'm approaching this process. Okay, then reflecting on the second agreement, don't take anything personally. Well, Marie Kondo says, there will be other people around who will have opinions about the timing of this project for you, what you're throwing away, how much money you've spent on stuff, there will be critics all abound. And indeed, it is wise. Don't take their opinions personally. In fact, do the process with them not around. And when you're getting ready to, if you're throwing stuff away in the garbage and you've made the decision of where it's going, put it in boxes so you don't have the opinions of the whole world, distracting you from the way you think you are being led to do it. So the other voice to not take personally is your own inner critic, because your own inner critic will continue to scream at you, telling you you're not doing it right. You better reread that section again in the book so you can really do Marie Kondo right. Yeah.
Well, especially the part about stacking your shirts vertically in small rectangular shapes. That's the part that scares my wife the most. So
now, you know what? I have reconfigured my closets. They're not quite by the Marie Kondo method. I might get there. And at this moment, I'm just going to pause because there have been a couple others that have joined the program since I last acknowledged, like Lisa Nichols, who's been here for a good while. Jim Sharp is here. salute to you, Jim. I'm so happy you jumped on over from Google Plus to join us. And Wiwek, who is also a friend over from Google Plus, he is here. And he wrote the most wonderful thing over in Google Plus, where I posted this blab event. And he wrote, one cannot be more honest with someone else than with oneself. Mm-hmm. Not being honest with self also means not being honest with self also means you will be dishonest with everybody else. And I agree. So if you're going to have an accountability partner, yeah. Will you be completely honest with them? You should. And as you go through your process and are talking to your higher guidance, your highest wisdom, it's okay to even express the things you thought you might do one way and then just weren't able for some reason. You did the best you can. This brings us back to the fourth agreement that says, do your best. Well, there are so many things in life we can't control, but we can control our responses to them. True. So if our timeline for our decluttering goes a little bit differently because the rest of life is happening, then we can ignore the voice of the ego, not take critical voices personally, give ourselves credit for doing the best we can today. And the third agreement, which is don't make assumptions. Don't make assumptions on how long this process is going to take. It might be 6 months for some people to go through through their whole house. It might take 9 months or a year for others. Do the best you can. Dare to reconnect with that, that core of love, that life force, which is kind of moving you, me, to simplify, to feel more free. And as we're in relationship with the stuff of our life, to experience more joy with it. Okay. Blab over. Jeremy, any thoughts, reflections? I know you can't stay real long today.
Yeah, I need to probably go here soon. I have a blab at 1 o'clock I need to catch, and I have about 5 blabs to prepare for this week. So,
okay. So, any thoughts or final reflections on, how even talking about this accountability thing or Don Miguel Ruiz's 4 agreements might be helpful for you as you continue on this process at home with you, sure. with your wife?
Yeah, I was thinking of, asking my wife to be my declutter accountability partner, because she's the one, putting the most pressure on me to do this anyway. And I think if I asked someone else to do that, I think she would resist. So, and I don't know if anyone else would be as effective, because no one knows me as well as she does. So for those of you who are married, consider seeing if your spouse would be willing to do that. If you can at least reach an agreement on decluttering. The 4 Agreements book is a wonderful book. I read it about a year ago, and I was really helped by it. And it's intriguing to have that as part of this process. But I think we do have to realize there are limits to how much we can do in a certain time. But if we really focus on this, like Marie Kondo talked about in her book, I think we can do a lot in a short period of time. But we need to be flexible. You have to build flexibility into your expectations. And if you can't completely declutter your life before Christmas, make it a New Year's resolution. But take it seriously. Resolve to do it. So that's what I would say in my parting thoughts.
So I thank you. I thank you, Jeremy, and good luck with your other blabs. If you want to mention what they are coming up, please do. Please feel free to either put links or something in our comment stream if you care to.
Okay, thanks.
So just tell me what are these other blabs that you are hosting?
Well, there's a running coach one tonight on tapering for races. I'm doing one on diplomacy tomorrow. That's I guess back in the positivity patrol area. There's going to be one on magnifying your greatest expectations at the end of the week, and then my 100th day on Blab is Saturday, so I'll be having a special Blab on that from Nevada. So
from Nevada.
Yeah.
You know what? I passed my 100th day on Blab. I'm going to have to.
You should have
a 100th. It was Saturday, and I couldn't do it on Saturday.
Just schedule it. Call it your 100-day Blab. Nobody's going to know the difference, but you'll be amazed how many people stop in to say hi to you and connect. From what I've seen, I've been amazed how popular these are. So that's why I'm trying to do it from the road. I'm traveling for a half marathon, but I've decided I'm going to try to do it from the hotel. So.
Great. Okay. Good luck to you. I'll be sending out my
thanks, Elaine.
My Reiki Elaine juju out your way. Like may the bandwidth angels be with you.
Thanks. I'll need it.
Okay. Thanks, Jeremy.
Right, take care. Bye, everybody.
Take care. So we have an open seat. Please, anybody who would like to continue on with this conversation, please do join in. And I do also want to address the question by Lisa Nichols, and which Jeremy posted for her. Put it on up here. How do you tackle your family's treasures? Well, this question I'm going to answer according to the Marie Kondo method. Marie Kondo suggests before you are going through items of sentiment, of yours or those of your family that have been passed down, you go through this process of sorting the stuff that's just easier in your life to get clear on, do I keep it because it sparks joy, or do I let it go? When you have enough experience going through that process with your clothing, and maybe with your books, and then maybe with items of utility, like the things in your kitchen, then you have a frame of reference for feeling within yourself every time you're holding up an individual, object or item. Is this a keeper? Even asking, do you want to stay? Do you need to stay? Do you still have a purposeful function in my life? Once you get familiar with that feeling of, yes, I'm here to still spark joy, then you can begin approaching these things like family treasures, items of sentiment. Obviously, some of those family treasures may have utilitarian functions. They may be easier to keep. For some people, perhaps letting go of things completely is not easy to do. So instead of keeping the physical objects, maybe you take photographs of them and, make a CD or have a file or two of those, with the pictures of those items of sentiment from your family, so that you could revisit them if you cared to. Anyway, that's my best answer. And Lisa says, I'm absolutely fine with letting go, but hubby and youngest are hoarders. It's a real bore. I guess the question then is, do they come from your side of the family or his side of the family? Do you actually, the thought that's occurring to me now is that for people who go through this Marie Kondo method, and when, like it could be me, but my husband's not doing it, or my son isn't doing it. But then when they begin to see the positive changes in you, because they notice you're experiencing relationship with your stuff differently. They notice your closet is differently. In your kitchen, maybe you've pared things down, and then as you utilize items, they simply are easier to find and put back in place when you're done. As others witness your changes and you haven't been requiring them to change, it's like sometimes easier for them to come around. So I guess that's my suggestion for you. Pull out the book, Lisa, that's under your clutter piles. Read it, start going through your clothes, and see what transformations start happening. I have noticed, some of my habits are changing. And so I'm glad for that. Let's see. And so Lisa is responding here in the comment stream, and she's saying, well, I will do. Thanks, Elaine. So do come back again, Lisa. We are going to continue these Declutter Day blabs. And as long as they seem to be helpful for both me and others, I don't know that there will be a big audience, but you never know. So thank you, Lisa, for stopping by. It's now at 1:47. I've held this blab open for about 40 minutes. I've covered the topic, I think, in some useful ways. I still have an open seat. Wiwek, if you'd like to come in and join the conversation for a few minutes and talk about this accountability stuff, I'd be more than welcome to have you join me in some conversation. And if not, I think I am going to close on out this blab. Wiwek of Wake Technologies is saying, sorry, I can't join. So perhaps on another occasion, you will join me. So at this point, I am going to sign on off with this conversation. Declutter Day number 9. Get accountable, accountable. Will you get accountable with your decluttering? Okay, I'm encouraging everybody, if you begin your decluttering process, really feel into, from your heart of hearts, why you're doing this, and dare to weave into the process you're listening to your highest sense of intuition, soul, spirit, core of your heart, to guide you through the process so that you can be a model of joy, comfort, fun, play, even with the process. And as you let go of the things that you no longer need in your life, you will experience more simplicity, freedom, and joy. Thanks, everybody, for coming on by to this Declutter Day blab. We'll see you around Hangouts on Air on Google+, the Holy Shift Show from time to time, and over here on Blab. Thanks, everybody.